This is an NFL Playoff Monday here on Kap and J Hood, as we were able to see teams getting closer and closer to Super Bowl 57. Pretty good stuff we saw over the weekend.
So which team do you want our team to look like of the teams that are still alive playing? Do we want to be like the Eagles?
Yes.
Do we want to be like the Niners?
Yes.
Do we want to be like the Bengals?
Yes, yes.
Do we want to be like the Chiefs?
Yes, yes.
I don't think it's realistic to think we can be the Bengals. I do not. We don't have a quarterback that plays that way. And I love Justin. You know, I'm all in. He's going to be a star. Mm-hmm. We don't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. We just don't have all of that style and the way Cool Joe plays. That's not how our guy will play. I think the Eagles are a realistic comp, 100%. You just got a huge chasm. You've got a, hurdle to get to that level. Mm-hmm. I think you can be the 49ers. Again, you're so many parts away. We're at the start of the process, and having the number one pick is a huge thing. Justin's got to keep working and getting better. That's a huge thing. It's going to take a lot of time. Those two teams, I think, are the most likely comps. The two in the AFC, I don't see it. I don't think we're going to be the Chiefs with that aerial attack. We don't have Travis Kelce. I do think we can be the two NFC teams if we have some patience and we hit home runs in all aspects of talent acquisition.
When I'm watching these NFL playoffs, Cap, I don't look at them with jealousy, saying, oh, my team's not there. The blue and orange is not in the playoffs, because I'm used to the Bears not being in the playoffs, because they just have these, as Sylvia would say, these kind of pop-up stores, these, every now and then playoff appearances. I'm not jealous of these teams at all. I admire what I'm seeing every weekend now with the NFL playoffs. You know why? Because this puts even more pressure on those at Hallis Hall. Yeah, they're starting from scratch. They're starting from the bottom. But what I want to see is to be able to look at these playoffs, and I want the Bears organization to look at these playoffs and say, this is where we need to be, and this is what it takes. For any Bears fan that just watches Bears football and is like, oh, the Bears aren't on, so I'll watch football. You want to know what it takes? It takes Joe Burrow. It takes an offense. It takes a belief system for the Bengals to get right back up there again. It was a miracle to see them in the Super Bowl last year, but then they're right there on the precipice again of getting it done and getting there again. It takes a system like the 49ers, in which you're on your third quarterback, and yet you don't blink. You don't blink. Like, oh, we don't have Trey Lance, we don't have Garoppolo. What are we going to do? I guess we're just going to just lose out and we'll just have a mediocre draft pick. No, we're just going to keep moving because our weapons are still there. Our system is still there. You could be the Kansas City Chiefs and say, well, there's Patrick Mahomes. You were there once. Will you get there again? I think it's going to be no. You're going to find a way to win those ball games. You're going to have the guts and the grind of the Eagles, where you say, boy, how do they do that? How does Roseman do it up there, the general manager? How do they do it? Because they have a system in place. You see Sirianni as the head coach, you may not think much of him, and then all of a sudden, look at the Eagles. They have two of everything. You need receivers. You need a good offensive line. You need defense. They have all of that. So for me as a Bears fan, my point is that I admire what I'm seeing, because I hope that Warren and Poles and Eberflus and those guys look on Saturdays and Sundays like we do and say, we got to get there. But it starts with us. We've got to be able to get the right personnel and get this right. We've got to hit on our draft picks. We've got to hit on free agency. That's what it comes down to. So I admire what we're seeing here. I hope they're looking at the blueprints of these teams and saying, we got to get there.
Look, Buffalo, I think, ran out of gas emotionally. They were just done after the whole DeMar Hamlin thing. They were awful. There's no two ways around it. They got pounded. They did. Cincinnati rolled in and said, you're going to doubt us again? Okay. That's what. We're ready to go. Buffalo was horrible. Horrible.
Push Hamlin to the side now, because yes, he was there, and yes, he was a factor in the regular season. But now the bell rings, and you've got to be able to get it done.
Answer it.
The biggest stat out of this game for the Bills is Josh Allen had no touchdowns. A big glaring zero. 268 yards, sure. But here's the problem. There's several problems with the Bills that we got to talk about. And am I bitter this morning about the Bills? Yes, I am. And so is Kap, because we had a ticket that's now burning in our wallet because they couldn't get the job done in snowy Orchard Park at home.
Correct.
At home, they couldn't win at the crib. And if anything, the Hamlin thing is the thing that empowers you. Our guy that could have died on the field is back. He's upright. He's with his family.
Is that the game?
Fight for him.
Yeah.
Fight for him.
Correct. I think they ran out of gas and they got smoked by a superior team.
No excuses.
That kid, Joe Burrow, man. So I'm going to the game on Sunday. My wife and I got invited. We are going to Kansas City. We're going to be in the stadium Sunday night. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, if Joe Burrow rolls in there and beats Mahomes, who's on a bulky ankle, is he the best quarterback in football? Does he get to the mountaintop? 2 Super Bowls in 2 years?
I don't know about the best, but definitely in the team photo. Because he's
already there.
But you got to get there and win it. That's the key.
So if he wins the Super Bowl,
I think that he definitely is in that team photo for sure, because that'd just be one, just like Mahomes has one.
Correct.
I just think it's fair because, again, for me, I take my time on the analysis. I'm not like these guys on television that say as Burrow wins the Super Bowl, he's the greatest of all time. Not doing that. What I'm saying is that if they get there, it's quite an accomplishment, but now you got to win it. So now you're in the team photo of some of the best.
Okay, if he goes into Kansas City and wins, that's 2 wins in Kansas City in 2 years.
Absolutely.
In the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty special, man. He is pretty special. And a friend of mine who broadcasts with the Bengals said, and he's also that guy. He likes all the responsibility that goes with being a quarterback, the leader of the team and great in the community, all of it. He said there is not a box that guy does not check.
Well, with Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow is like the hot album that continues to rise up the charts. That's exactly what Joe Burrow is. You think about, you're on the road against Buffalo, a really snowy situation where it's like, boy, can you be able to win the game? And it was just a steady, easy offensive game plan. 23 for 36, good for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. I just think that they had a good, steady, easy game. And I think on top of that, Kap, what I liked about it is that they ran the football. So how is it that you're Buffalo, you're at home, and you don't run the football? That's one of my big issues here this morning, is that they don't run the football, but Mixon runs for 105 yards. And easy against that Bills defense.
Oh, they used Samaje Perine. Where did he go? Auburn? Mm-hmm. He was a big-time prospect. He's their backup back. He had 30-some yards receiving. They used him very effectively. Mm-hmm. And they have that 3-headed monster of receivers. And since Burrow came back from the appendicitis and the O-line got steadied, the last 3 months, that O-line's been way better than they were coming in.
No question.
Way better. So they roll in. It's going to be a hell of a game.
I just don't know how Buffalo does not run the football. I mean, listen, maybe that money doesn't mean anything to you. It's just another loss. But it means something to me that Buffalo, the team that I had to win the Super Bowl, plays like that, plays down. And again, give the Bengals all the credit because their defense, it crushed Allen. I know someone will open the box score and say, oh, he's only sacked one time. No, he got crushed. And there were some times where he was hurried and he did not do the job. We'll talk about the Bills moving forward here because I should have known that this was going to happen yesterday, Kap, based on how they played against Miami. Because even though they won that game, that was not impressive against a Miami team that really don't know themselves just as of yet, that kind of limped their way into the playoffs. I should have known from that game that Buffalo would put on this kind of effort against Cincinnati.
Right. Looking back, you're exactly right. I was watching the game and thinking, all right, they just were messed up from the Hamlin. All right, we got by it. And then we'll be fine going forward. Not so quick. They got destroyed, dominated.
In this postseason, the great Josh Allen that we've touted all season, right? The great Josh Allen has had the lowest offensive target rate amongst quarterbacks here in the postseason in the NFL. The lowest offensive target rate on 15 or more yards. That's the stat.
Crazy.
So in how do I know that? Is because Stephon Diggs was not a factor. 4 receptions good for 35 yards. Really, your tight number one receiver only had the ball 4 times for 35 yards.
The key play, I thought, early game, there were a lot of keys, but early, Josh Allen stepped up, but he got pressure in his face. Diggs slipped a little coming off the line and then took off, and he beat his man.
Yeah.
They had him, and he overthrew him because he got pressured. When your offensive line does not give you time, I'm preaching the choir here in this city.
Yeah.
You're not going to make plays.
Yeah. I was impressed by what I saw from Kansas City to hang in there against Jacksonville. Philadelphia just absolutely dominated the New York Giants. Shows you how bad Minnesota was.
Oh, God. Jacksonville's coming, man. Jacksonville's coming. Trevor Lawrence is the real deal.
How about that, Shay?
Vikings, most fraudulent team in NFL history at this point.
How bad were the Vikings that the Giants lost 38-7? That tells
By the
you all
way,
you need to
didn't
know.
the Vikings also lose 38-7 in the link early this year?
I believe that was the case or something along those lines. Yeah.
If it wasn't 38-7, it was damn close.
Mm-hmm. So I was impressed by San Francisco's resolve, Philadelphia's dominance, Kansas City being able to hang in there against Jacksonville. Thank you for the cover, Jacksonville. As well as the
I had that as well. Thank you.
As well as the Bengals, how they were able to go on the road to beat the Bills. So how about we do this? Bears fans, NFL fans, Shay, let's open the phone lines. 312-332-ESPN, 332-3776 is our phone number. Kap and I want to find out from you here on this NFL Playoff Monday. Championship weekend is set. So which of these teams should the Bears look like going forward? So the Bears should look like blank moving forward. Based on what we saw over the weekend, the team that you like the most, you say, boy, I liked that team. Who would you like the Bears to be more like based on what we saw? Wins for Kansas City, Philadelphia, San Francisco, the Bengals. Let's get your thoughts here. 312-332-3776. Bears fans, you watched it. Which team impressed you? We talk about it. Kap and J Hood, weekday mornings